Segment of the Sit Down with Malik Wright presented by First Star Logistics. On this segment, we'll be discussing a hot topic. We'll be discussing, is Caleb Williams the projected first overall pick in this year's NFL draft and frontrunner for the Heisman overrated? Daniel, we were watching the game against Colorado this past week, and we were hearing some crazy statements. He's further along than Patrick Mahomes was at this point in his college football career, which maybe could be true. We even saw some reports saying that anonymous NFL executives believe that Caleb Williams is already the player that Patrick Mahomes currently is, which is absolutely asinine. This is a guy that is being treated like he walks on water. They keep using the term generational. And I understand it's a quarterback driven league, it's a quarterback driven sport. But at what point are we putting too much hype on this guy, right? I'll take the stance of I believe Caleb Williams is very, very good, right? I believe Caleb Williams is very good, and I think that any team would make. I think he could potentially make any team better, and I think that any team would be lucky to have him. They also made a statement where they said if Caleb Williams was in the NFL right now, he'd make at least 18 teams in the NFL better. So there's a lot of hype coming in.
Yeah.
Coming in to this year's upcoming NFL draft season, if you will, surrounding Caleb Williams. What are your thoughts on Caleb Williams? Do you think Caleb Williams' hype is deserved? Do you think that he's some generational talent? Because I've got to think that they're going to say the exact same thing next year's draft class when Shedeur Sanders comes out, or when the next hot topic quarterback comes out. What are your thoughts?
So I think he is a damn good quarterback, and I think he will be a damn good quarterback. Is Caleb Williams overrated right now? I'm going to say yes. And the reason why is I think the conversations people are having is making it overrated. This is not a shot at Caleb Williams. This is not a shot at his talent at all. This is more of a real sit-down question that we're having and a discussion we're having, because the quarterback position, in my opinion, scouting-wise, is overrated. So what do you mean by that, right? What I mean by that is you can have all the talent in the world. Look at the Zach Wilson. Look at the Sam Darnolds. Look at the Trey Lances of the world. It doesn't matter if you don't go to a good situation. Look at Justin Fields. So much of the NFL, and I promise you guys, go back and look at every single example. So much of the NFL is where you end up. Look at Josh Allen. How did he start his rookie year? He showed flashes, man. He showed flashes. Patrick Mahomes, how did he start? He showed flashes. He landed with Andy Reid and Alex Smith. He sat behind him. You look at Josh Allen. He landed in a situation with an organization that's willing to go out and trade for a star receiver like Stephon Diggs, an organization that can build around your offensive talent. But look at other organizations like the Bears. They're not willing to build around Justin Fields. So the reason why I say he's overrated isn't about him as a player. I think he is a generational type of athlete. He is a generational type of player, but it truly depends on where he goes. I think he'll be a damn good quarterback, but to say he's already better than Patrick Mahomes and we're gassing him up and looking at all these other throws, saying like acting as if Zach Wilson can't make that same exact throw. So, man, it's just frustrating to see other people gas him up and say all these things about him when the man doesn't even want it. He just wants to play ball. He just wants to play. He doesn't want to be compared to Patrick Mahomes. So Caleb Williams, if I were to make a projection right now, I think he could be a top 5 quarterback in the NFL someday. I truly believe that. But to say he's already better than Patrick Mahomes and everything, I'm going to hold off. So that's my stance. I think he could be a top 5 quarterback in the NFL someday. But I'm telling you guys, it truly matters where he ends up and who he gets paired up with.
So let's keep on that, because honestly, if you're already comparing him to Patrick Mahomes, and Patrick Mahomes is the consensus number 1 quarterback in the NFL, that means you're putting him over the likes of Joe Burrow, the likes of Josh Allen, the likes of Lamar Jackson, the likes of, I mean, that's pretty much what you're saying. But if you're not you're saying,
okay,
that's what they're saying essentially by comparing him to that, right? And to me, I just think that's kind of a little bit crazy for a guy that hasn't played a snap in the NFL yet. Now he could look like he has the chops, but again, we know the NFL is a completely different ballgame. But keeping it going in that same theme of things, where he lands, you talk about where he lands and why that's uber important. Who's to say Caleb Williams doesn't say, hey, you know what? I don't want to play for X team. I'm gonna sit out. I'm gonna go back to USC for another year, right? Because you look at the Bears situation, they seem like an organization that is in shambles. We knew where the GM Ryan Poles and the head coach sort of stood with Justin Fields when they first took over, where they kind of wanted their own guy and they kind of wanted to see what Justin Fields has. Now that you've seen what Justin Fields has and things don't really seem to be working out the way that many people thought, right? Whether it be Justin Fields' fault, he hasn't taken the next leap. For to see them squander what they had, a victory in their hands against the Denver Broncos for a team that the Denver Broncos that is ailing. You've got to really wonder what's the future in Chicago will hold, because it doesn't seem like a bright one. But that brings me to my point. What happens with the Caleb Williams, right? What does Caleb Williams say? You know what? I ain't going to Chicago, because I'd probably say that's probably smart on his end to probably not want to go there for a team that doesn't know what they want to do. And you think there might be some changes there from a coaching standpoint, right? So I guess a lot of that depends on who they bring in as a coach, so on and so forth. But yeah, like you said, to where Caleb Williams lands will dictate a lot of his future.
And that's sad to
And
say.
that's the sad part to say, because you look at some quarterbacks like Trey Lance, who knows what could have happened had he ended up in a different situation, right? You see that happen
I think
with some
Sam Darnold's
quarterbacks.
the best.
Sam Darnold is a very good example as well. And you look at it and you say, you know what happens if certain guys end up in a situation that's less than desirable, or they end up in a situation where the coaching staff doesn't play to their skill set? Like, we were watching the Zach Wilson Jets game the other night, and you look at it, they're got him all playing all bunched up, and that's not his game. His game is stay back in the shotgun, spread style offense, and let him wheel and deal. And what do you know? When they went to that, he started wheeling and dealing. It is again, Joe Judge, for all his faults that he has as a head coach, he said, "You don't tell me that a player doesn't fit this system, right? You tell me why the player does fit the system. You make the player fit the system, right? You play to the player's skill set, because that's the true definition of coaching." So for Caleb Williams, man, I'd like to see him end up in a situation in which he can actually thrive and use his ability. I'm just not quite sure if a place like Chicago or some of these other places is right for him. But that all could change. It's all subjective. It all could change depending upon what happens with coaching.
Yeah, and going back to the conversation, I'm telling you, these other people and what you said, is he like right now, is he a better quarterback than Kirk Cousins? Hell no, respectfully. Like, if you put him on the Vikings right now, I think of course Caleb could be great, but the man's going to be a rookie. So I think it is disrespectful to NFL quarterbacks right now to say, okay, he's already better. Relax. He's a damn good prospect. He may be a better prospect than Patrick Mahomes was, and that's a different conversation now. But right now, and the final thing I'll say is, I think Caleb Williams, if he does go to a situation like Chicago, I think he has the talent to be able to make something of it versus a guy like Justin Fields does. I think he does have that transcendent type talent, but at the end of the day, man, it truly matters about how does the organization build. So I want to see him come out of the draft this year. I want to see him go to a team that, if it's the Bears, I hope you guys make changes. Hope you build the offensive line, change the organization up, because Caleb has the talent. He has the raw talent that can be molded as long as you pair him with a good coach and good organization.
Yeah, I agree with you. Let us know what you guys think. Is Caleb Williams overrated, or is the hype justified? Do you guys think he's going to be a generational elite quarterback in the National Football League? Very curious to hear what your thoughts are. If you like more video content like this, give this video a like, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and turn on post notifications so you guys don't miss when we go live, when we upload content from the First Star Logistics Studio.